Hello. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the features and functionality that allow faculty to set up and build a complete module using the Blackboard Ultra Course View functionality. Whether in a face-to-face class or in an online class, one of the questions that come up is how do I build a complete module and how do I know my students are accessing all of the content provided? One of the ways to do that is to use the Learning Module feature in Blackboard Ultra. Through the course content, you can click Create and Learning Module, which will create a new learning module. I've already created a learning module here and populated it with the content and learning activities expected throughout the module. I've populated it with documents, a discussion, a quiz, and an assignment. I want to ensure that my students are not only accessing all of the content that I've provided, but ensuring that they're accessing it in the order that I've provided it. I can do so by going to the Learning Module menu and choosing Edit and enabling Forced Sequence. As I click Save, you'll see on the module itself, there's a note that says Students progress through the module in order. By forcing sequence, I am ensuring that in order for the student to move to the second element in the module, they must have completed the first element. In addition to the course sequencing, what I've also done is I've added a release condition to the final activity for the week. I named it Module 1 Reflection, and if I hover over my release condition, it says a student must earn 7 points or higher on Module 1 quiz to access this content, which means I've scaffolded my material so that until the student has proved they have an understanding of the prerequisite knowledge in Module 1, they cannot progress on to the Module 1 reflection. Now let's take a look at what the student will experience when progressing through the module. In student preview mode, the student will see the module, and when they click to activate it, they'll see all elements of the module. However, you'll notice the icons are locked as I cannot access that content until I've accessed the previous content. If I dive into my Module 1 Introduction and Objectives, you'll notice that the next piece of the module is not accessible, indicated by the lock icon and the grayed out text. If I scroll down to the end of the module, telling the system that I've read all of the content, that lock disappears and I can move on to the next element of the module. Similarly, the lock disappeared for the discussion as I entered the page. If I'm the student and I close this piece of content, I can still see my progress through the module. I can access the next learning activity within the module. Once I do, notice the lock for the Module 1 quiz remains. When I participate in the discussion, the lock is removed and I can move on to the quiz. As I start the quiz, remember, I set a conditional release on the reflection. I cannot access the reflection until I've earned 7 points or higher on the quiz. If I answer this quiz question incorrectly, submitted my quiz, it's turned in, I still cannot move on to the next stage. If I, as the student, retake the quiz and start my second attempt, I can answer the question correctly, submit my assignment, receive my grade of 10 out of 10, and now when I return to the module, the reflection is unlocked and accessible to me and to all those who have met that conditional release. You can learn more about release conditions in another video that was made by Instructional Design. But by leveraging the features and functions of both learning modules, the forced sequence, and release conditions, it will help you create a scaffolded, linear, complete asynchronous module. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out or schedule an appointment with Instructional Design.